Here we are with Friends with Benefits on a Thursday night. We have living legend from the legendary band Toto and numerous session projects and just a list too long to talk about right now, but it's David Paich. How are you, David?
Very good, Brian, and yourself?
I'm doing really well. It's great to hear your voice again after so long. And
it is. You're too kind with that intro.
Well, you guys are legends, and especially you. I was looking at your I mean, I know what you've done, but still, every time I look at the list, something else jumps out at me. And
yeah,
I didn't realize you worked with Chicago at all.
I did. I had. They were friends of ours, you know what I mean? And they're a legendary group. I mean, they're to me one of America's treasures. And we had the good fortune of meeting them, and I knew Pankow and Danny, the drummer, and Peter Cetera and people. And they did an album, and I think I was working on a song with David Foster. We wrote something, and ended up being on a Chicago record there. And we were always, every time they were in town, we were always hanging out with them. And to this day, they're friends. And I can't say enough great things about them.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Danny Serafin's a very close friend of mine. He sends his hellos to you.
Well, huge hug for him, and tell him I'm still a huge fan.
He is. He's got some chops. I love his style.
He's just the best. He was. We grew up listening to Chicago, and they were just the forerunners of progressive horn music. And I was in a horn band at the time in the San Fernando Valley with four horns and Jeff Porcaro, and we would do CTO when they were called CTA.
Sure. That first album, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Danny certainly paved the way for many drummers.
Absolutely, man. Very progressive for the time.
Absolutely. Now, your history personally, David Paich, starts in the 70s as a sessions player, right? Mm-hmm. Now, Boz Scaggs, one of the main ones?
Well, I started before that, actually. When I got out of college... when I got out of high school, the first sessions I did were for Seals and Crofts. Oh. And the first hit record I played on was Diamond Girl.
I love that band, and let me tell you, Louis Shelton is a hell of a producer.
He's a hell of a producer and guitar player. Oh. I just got an email from him because he's just finished a new solo album, and he's sending it to me, and I'm sending him our new Toto album. So it's about everything I know from Louis Shelton.
It might take 2 weeks from Australia, because that's where he is now.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So it was between Seals and Crofts and Boz Scaggs I really learned what I know about making records and how to make do what I do. So those were two instrumental artists in my career. No,
and plus you were surrounded. I mean, wasn't Hal Blaine on drums?
Well, for what sessions?
For the Seals and Crofts.
No, that was in fact, Diamond Girl was different drummers. Diamond Girl was Harvey Mason on drums.
Okay.
And Wilt Felder on bass, and I think Hummingbird. One had Jim Gordon on it, one had John Guerin on it. Maybe Summer Breeze could have been either John Guerin or Jim Gordon. There were three different drummers Louis was using. Again, one was Harvey Mason, one was Jim Gordon, the other was John Guerin.
Well, whoever it was, they always had such a rhythm section that would just
they certainly did.
Take those songs away and put them in a new place.
Boy, they sure did. Yeah,
Diamond Girl was
Diamond
Girl was such a jam.
Yeah, it was. Really that's what cracked me up. I thought it was going to be kind of a different piece. And I went in there, and it was just kind of like we were playing the blues a little bit.
You got that walking bass line.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Wilton Felder on bass from the Jazz Crusaders.
Yeah, what a great track that was.
Yeah.
So now you kind of morphed and evolved, and I know your dad was very heavy in the music too.
Absolutely. Yeah, my dad was a jazz pianist and arranger. And he did the modern sounds in country western with Ray Charles, I Can't Stop Loving You, Born to Lose, and went on to work with, had been working with Mel Torme, Sammy Davis, Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald. I had all these great singers and artists watched my father work with him when I was a kid. So it was just the best thing I could ever do,
what a
to
start.
see all this and,
What a start for you, yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously you guys ultimately banded up, when was it, 77, 76 with Toto?
Well, 77, we put the band together and started working on our record, and it was released in 78. So, right after the Boz Scaggs Soaked to Grease thing, I think we decided to put our old high school band back together because we'd all grew up and had been playing, gigs in high school, and we kind of wanted to do it for real. So we thought we'd give it a shot, you know what I mean? And we're looking back on 35 years plus here. And it really is. I mean, when they use the word legacy with us, I feel so old. But at the same time, there is a body of work, and I'm very proud of the musicians and my colleagues that I'm in a band with. You know what I mean? They're great players and great friends.
And great people, of course.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh, too, when you say high school band.
Yeah.
How many high school bands are represented on each musical instrument, like Toto?
Yeah.
I mean, from the same section of area from California? I mean...
Yeah, from San Fernando Valley, which is just kind of like North Hollywood. And we all grew up there, and we used to play dances, high school dances, homecomings, proms, Battle of the Bands, and, we were like playing all the hits from Santana to the Rolling Stones to James Brown, you know what I mean?
No, and I know, God rest his soul, Mike Porcaro just passed away in the last couple of weeks, and our thoughts and prayers are with the Porcaro family.
Well, thank you very much for all the prayers and support that all of our fans and everybody's given us on and the family on Facebook, and we really appreciate it, and I'm sure Mike appreciates it, and his music will live on.
It will. He was a Seals and Crofts guy too.
He was a Seals and Crofts guy, absolutely.
I think after you, right?
Yeah, after me, but then we played together. There was a very famous song that was a hit record, and it was really indicative of Mike Porcaro. It's called Castles Made of Sand.
Oh, yes.
And that was a hit. I remember hearing it all over, and that was really, you can really hear Mikey shine on that one.
No kidding. Now, during the high school days, was Mikey the bass? He was not the
Mike
bass.
in high school he was our bass player in that band.
How did it come to fruition that David Hungate?
Well, when we left high school, Mike was to be a year behind me, and Steve was 2 years behind me, so they hadn't graduated. So Jeff Porcaro and I joined the Sonny and Cher band, which Sonny and Cher had a TV show, and they were huge at the time. They were doing sellout places. And David Hungate had been with them from Denton, Texas. He had joined earlier. So Jeff told me I met this great bass player, and we started touring for 2 years all around the United States in huge places and fairs all over. And we got this little thing happening with me and David Hungate and Jeff Porcaro that sounded like a unit, and it really was a fit, and there was good chemistry there, And we eventually, when it came time to do the Silk Degrees album, we plugged Louis Shelton in, and he became the fourth guy there, and we were on our way right there. So Mike had still been in high school, and I think Mike started going out with Seals and Crofts when I was with Boz, and he was touring with them. So we were all one at a time, graduating from high school and getting out into the real world here,
And really what a story this is. David Hungate, what a sweetheart of a guy. And obviously Steve Lukert there, too, has been a friend of our show and always is forthright in information with us. Never backs down from a question. Which
Oh, absolutely. No, he's the guy. He talks like he plays, which is very truth, no filter, absolutely no filter on him, and everything's on 10, you know what I mean? He's what a talent he is, and he's a pretty funny guy, and like I said, he's pretty outrageous.
He really is.
That's why we put him out front. He's our front man there,
But for somebody so aggressive, he's so sweet, too. I mean,
oh, yeah, at the same time. He's a sweetheart underneath all that. He just likes to bark like a lion every once in a while.
Yeah, he's got a heart of gold.
Heart of gold.
And I'll tell you, his son Trev is a friend of mine, too.
I love Trevor, man. Trevor's a great guitarist, too.
Yeah,
but
great guitarist.
Trev is just like, that's the great thing about knowing these guys. I knew Luke since he was, 15 years old, and to see him with kids now, to see all of us with kids now, it's just it's a real gift to see a life, the cycle of life,
It's amazing. It's amazing. Now, Toto's coming up with a brand new release this week, right?
That's right. We have a new album called Toto 14. It's just released Monday, I think.
Okay, Monday.
And I think it's out. I think we have a single out called Orphan. It's on iTunes, and it's on YouTube also. There's a little video out.
Now, the reason you guys rebanded, obviously, was for the Mike Porcaro and the ALS and all that, right?
That's right. We got together because Mikey was having problems and from this terrible disease, degenerative disease, and we decided we wanted to try and help him out here financially and bring ALS awareness out. So we were going to do a couple of clubs and a couple of venues in LA, but we realized we'd have to do like 10 or 12 to make a difference with him. So our manager booked us one summer tour, and we went out, and it was very successful on all levels. And we've been doing it kind of annually as an annual reunion thing for Mike for the past 4 summers, and Mike brought us all back together here as only he could.
It's funny how these tragedies kind of can morph into that.
Yeah.
You see it quite often where somebody's suffering, people do things for the right reasons, and they take on a life of their own. Again, did you ever?
You see the gift of what we have goes beyond just making records and financially and that kind of thing, where we can actually people rally around us, and we have everyone's attention. And just like we went on CNN and did the Ice Bucket Challenge, and it went from having a couple of $1 million a year raising money to over $100 million a year, thanks to everyone out there that participated in that, to put ALS on the radar of the doctors and of the the masses, so they know that this is a disease that needs a cure as soon as possible.
It really, and it hasn't really, as far as treatment goes, it hasn't come very far. A lot of others have. So that money, I'll tell you, I'm sure that's going to make a big difference. Yeah. Big difference.
Yeah.
But so it's amazing because when you and I hung out in Rhode Island last fall, Toto and Michael McDonald, that great concert, I remember going with the people I was with and just turning to them during the concert and saying, I got to tell you, I've been to probably 200-300 shows. It's probably one of the top 5.
Oh, my God.
Top 5 that I have ever been to.
And that's fantastic. I'm honored, and that really makes me feel good. I'll share that with the guys.
Right. Well,
because I know you've heard a lot of shows. You know what I mean?
Not only that is, went to Berkeley. I know my music, and
I see. Okay.
I produce too, so I have quite an ear for it, and just watching each individual piece be able to do that, and integrate and come together in such a technical way. I mean, you guys aren't up there playing elementary pop here.
No, we're not. That's the whole thing. You can't blink. You got to stay focused when you're playing our show.
No, there's no question. So it was.
Sometimes I wish I could be in Bruce Springsteen's band. I think I could relax a little bit easier as some of the songs go by, or the Rolling Stones. But ours is like there's like a freight train following you. And I must say, playing on the bill with Mike McDonald, it kind of raised our level of musicianship here. When you get someone else of that caliber and you get to play with them on stage too, it just keeps everybody, it makes everybody shine and kind of raises the caliber, raises the bar that evening.
That's why it was so special too, because we saw the Toto show. I didn't want it to end because it was just so. I mean, it's just one of those. You go see Steely Dan. It's in that same genre, in that same caliber.
Absolutely.
And so afterwards, Michael McDonald comes on. You don't miss much of a beat by any means.
Yeah.
Michael just brings it,
Oh, he was just bringing it right there, and then to go back on it. And normally guys will have you, well, here's the last song, and everybody come on, and it's kind of like the bow on stage. He designed a special medley, a Stevie Wonder medley, and Amazing Grace, so we could come on for the last 4 or 5 songs. You know what I mean? That was really fun. It's reminds me of the days with the Allman Brothers, where they'd have people jamming on stage, or Mad Dogs and Englishmen or something. You know what I mean?
That Stevie Wonder medley was.
Yeah, Stevie Wonder too. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So the new album now, it's hit. It's obviously it's out there for sale. Tell us a little bit about it. How many tracks? I know C.J. Vanston, another good buddy, is involved as a producer, which you can't go wrong with C.J. That guy, no flies on him by any means.
I'm sorry, say it again. Oh, C.J.
C.J.
Oh, absolutely.
Amazing.
I can't say enough good stuff about him, man. He is just exceptional keyboardist, songwriter, producer extraordinaire to me. You know what I mean? He's one of my heroes for sure. And we get together all the time when I say, play this for me or play this for me. He's got so much facility and such a big wheelhouse there and for songs and everything. He's amazing. He's even in the new Al Pacino movie coming out called Danny Collins.
Okay.
That's out. He plays the piano. He's the piano player that's with Pacino all the time, so he's in that movie, and he was just the glue that kept us all together on this new album here. It was great.
Yes, we're talking to David Paich from the legendary rock band Toto. And David, moving forward to this, is this album going to be supported by tour dates?
Yes, it will. I think around August 12th, we're going to be in the States, and we're going to be on the co-billing with Yes, the famous band from England, Yes.
Oh, my Lord. What
and I think we're going to be in the New England area right there, so watch for us. I think for August 12th to September 12th are our dates, and I think it's going to be some a great show. I mean, I would want to go see that show myself.
Now, were you into in the 70s, especially that kind of music, the prog rock?
Absolutely. We were into groups like Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Yes,
Kansas,
Led Zeppelin, and just all some of the Genesis. You know what I mean? These progressive groups from England, much more than the American groups. You know what I mean? So, with the exception of Chicago,
Sure, which they were more straight-lined.
Yeah, we certainly were influenced by them. There's a song on their new record called "Great Expectations." It's the very next to the last song, and you can just see we're kind of tipping our hats and just saying, we were influenced by bands like Yes, and it was our chance to kind of say thank you on it.
It's funny because I wouldn't term you guys as a prog rock band, but I would say there is that influence in it, no question.
What's that?
I do hear that in Toto. I do hear an influence of that old school prog rock. I wouldn't call you a prog rock band.
Right.
But I think there's an infusion in there that's kind of underlines the music.
Right.
And I don't know if you've seen this, but I just saw this the other night. Is the great American band Kansas? They just did a documentary, and I learned a lot about them on Palladia.
Really?
And I don't know if you ever got to see a little bit of their stuff back in the 70s, but they followed suit to that prog rock.
They surely did. We actually played one show with them in Atlanta. It was funny. It was Kansas and Toto. They tried to do that bill.
Wow.
And, I was a big fan of Kansas. You know what I mean? I thought they had some great songs, and I'd love to see that documentary.
It just got out last week. It's a 2-hour, just a depiction. And
right.
I know that my buddy Steve Duddy is doing a documentary about the Porcaro brothers.
Yeah, he's trying. He's little by little. He's trying to do it and get money, get financing raised for it, and he's been working on it for a while here. So we wish him well.
Yes, I think it's important that we document as much of this great music.
Absolutely.
That we have. But we're very excited about the album Toto 14. David, we'd like to get you back on the show in a couple months.
I'd love to.
When things slow down. I know that right now this is interview number 7 today or whatever.
I will always make time for you, Brian.
I know you will, my friend. So David Paich, Toto, thanks so much, David.
Well, thank you all for listening on WATD-FM, and Toto should be coming your way soon here. Go out and buy the new album, Toto 14, and we will be seeing you. Thank you.
What's the website, David?
Toto official website, it's called. I think that's what it's called.
All
Toto,
right.
the official website.
All right, TotoOfficialWebsite.com.
Yes.
All right, you're listening to 95.9 WATD Friends with Benefits. We'll be right back.